Do you want to know the major theme that I'm seeing in the divorce industry as a divorce lawyer as I do consults these days? I am seeing working moms doing it all. And I'm seeing the husbands step back and say, I don't got to do a thing. She's got the kids, she's got the groceries, she's got the laundry, she's got the meals, she's got the work. And by the way, she's making all the money and she's paying for the house and doing everything else. I'm going to go to the firehouse, I'm going to go play this, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. That's the theme. And women are tired.
Can you believe she had a baby 7 days ago? Oh my God, you look great.
Can you believe I had a baby 7 days ago and I'm the one that's doing the laundry?
You look like shit. I take it back.
In the comment section, everyone's like, let her rest. And she's like, no, I felt good. I just wanted to get up and get some things done. I'm not saying this is the case here, but it's a really good example of why taking full responsibility for a task is really important. While she was resting, she was thinking about what things needed to get done, which is why she got up and started doing them in the first place. Either she was responsible for the laundry getting done or the division of labor was not clear in the household. And when the division of labor is not clear in a household, it's on someone's mental load. In many cishet households, women are carrying more of the mental load. What that means is they are anticipating what needs to be done. They're using their mental space to navigate and engineer what needs to be done in what order in order for things to not fall apart. Which means that sitting idly by can cause more stress than just getting up and doing it. And so yeah, sometimes even when someone's sick or recovering from giving birth, getting up and doing things can feel better than sitting on the couch. How do you care for someone who is recovering from a birth? You anticipate your family's needs and you take full responsibility of getting it done. Supporting your partner who just gave birth is not just saying, I'll get things done, tell me what you need help with around the house. It's taking full responsibility. Ahead of the birth, you can learn how to get things done. You can practice getting multiple things done and doing the mental load for yourself. Supporting your partner in their healing means being reliable and navigating the mental load so that they can truly rest. She said she was fine. I'm going to believe that she was fine, but there's a better way.
One of the things I really try to process now as a middle-aged man is the full extent to which I really thought that I was the main character. Let's give you an example. Early in our marriage, my partner and I, say we'd be going on a trip. My partner, at that point in time, would be doing the laundry, vacuuming the house, making sure the dishes were done. And I would literally think like, well, yeah, but you don't have to do that. Like that's you wanting to do that. It's not what I want to do. She would get everything ready, and eventually I would say, oh, now it's time to get ready. And I would go, and this is not a joke, this literally happened on more than one occasion. I would get like a backpack or a suitcase or something, and I would get my own clothes, and I would get like 2 or 3 books that I wanted to read, and I would literally bring highlighters because I'm a nerd, and I think, I'm ready to go on the trip. Looking back, like, what? How can I possibly think that was okay? And the thing is, when we had kids, it didn't stop, right? My partner would do all the work to get all of them ready, and make sure they were bathed, snacks packed, and I would get myself ready. I think, oh, I saw my own father do this quite a bit, where he would take care of his own needs, so I know I didn't learn it from nowhere, but I also had to unlearn it because it never was okay. I thought that my role was to do all these things outside of the home and that the home was, woman's domain. I saw that modeled and even taught as the way it should be, but oh my gosh, is that not partnership? And that sucks. So if you are a person, especially if you're a man and you think that division of labor is okay, like you shouldn't be married. Like you shouldn't be in a relationship. And I shouldn't have been at that point in time. And that would have made me so very mad because I was like, what more do you want from me? Turns out quite a lot.
So Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I'm a mom of 1-year-old twin girls. My older sister is a mom. My mother is the mother of us 2 and our 2 other siblings. And I was FaceTiming my mom and sisters last night, and we are planning Mother's Day dinner. So we're deciding what we're going to eat, what time it's going to be. I'm bringing a food assignment. My sister's bringing a food assignment. My mom's preparing the main meal. Why is it this way? Why can men not be better than this? And yes, I love my husband. He's a great guy. He's really trying. I actually think he's trying, and we're like progressive. We're like working on this. But yet still, like, this is how it is. And my husband's on a work trip right now. My mom's husband, my stepdad, like, tore his ACL, whatever. There's, like, maybe reasons. But if I was on a work trip or my mom tore her ACL, we would still probably be planning it, especially if it was Father's Day. And I just feel so frustrated right now because I feel like not only do women bear so much more of the emotional labor, women also have to bear the emotional labor on behalf of other women when their men in their lives don't show up for them, right? So like, I know if my stepdad doesn't do something for my mom for Mother's Day, I have to step in and do something even more because he's not like taking care of her. And my mom knows if my husband's gonna drop the ball on Mother's Day, then she wants to like take care of me because we want to take care of each other and we want each other to be happy. And it's so frustrating to me. Like, I know that men, I'm not saying they're bad or like not trying, but like, it just upsets me that it's this way. And I just like don't know. I'm sorry, I'm crying. I have the worst crying voice. And also if you're going to be like, why do people film themselves crying? Like, go away. I know it can be better than this. It's just, I don't think like I can emphasize enough how much of this emotional labor women carry. And trying to like work to like get my husband to understand this and the other men in my life, like that's labor in and of itself. And sure, we could just ask him to do it, but that's also labor. Like, ugh.
Spiral with me for a moment. Women are often discouraged from advocating for themselves. Part of that is because it's a woman's job to make other people comfortable. We're told we shouldn't be too needy. We are encouraged to adapt rather than advocate for ourselves. And often that looks like thinking our needs are too much. So there's emotional labor in advocating yourself despite the story that you're telling yourself about your needs being too much. There is emotional labor in being let down by men who often haven't had the same practice anticipating needs or noticing how to show up for people. Women often take responsibility for that. Then there's even more emotional labor in deciding if you're going to speak up and possibly make your partner uncomfortable or being met with defensiveness, which confirms that your needs were too much. It feels easier to do it yourself.
Good morning, TikTok. I thought I'd share a small snippet of why I'm getting a divorce. So for the men out there who watch this, which frankly I kind of hope there aren't any, you have an idea maybe what not to do. Yesterday I go to work all day, go pick up one kid from school, go grocery shopping, go pick up the other kid from school, come home, kids need a snack, make the snack, kids want to play outside, we play outside. Then he gets home from his run, which he chose to go on after a volunteer program he is doing after school. I told him not to do this program, I told him it was a bad choice and he was not going to be happy doing it. He did it, whatever. So he gets home, he eats the entire carton of blueberries I just purchased for the children's lunch, and asks me what's for dinner. I tell him I don't know because the kids had a late snack and they're not hungry yet. He says, great, as sarcastically as possible. Mind you, the last time he cooked, he rarely cooks. If he does cook, I have to tell him how and what. The last time he cooked, he got so angry he started stomping around like a toddler. Then when he realized he forgot an ingredient, he was about to punch a hole in the wall. Our previous homes were all littered with holes in the walls that he had punched, including one extremely large hole that was left from him throwing a milk carton, a two gallon, whatever the hell they are, milk carton through the wall. Anyway, finally one kid is hungry, so I offer to make pancakes because they're quick and easy and it's late. He sees the pancake batter and sees that there's wheat flour in it and starts complaining. Says he won't eat them. Now, I am a grown-ass adult making pancakes for my children, who I am trying to feed nutritionally balanced meals. So yes, there's wheat flour in the pancake mix. Then he starts complaining and saying he is not going to do dishes because he's not going to eat the pancakes, so he doesn't have to do dishes if he doesn't eat. Friends, the only thing this man does around this house is dishes occasionally. If I cook, he usually does dishes. I cook most nights. But here's the thing. That's all he does. I do everything else. Everything. I cook. I clean the bathrooms. I make the lunches. I make the breakfasts. I mow the lawn. I do kids' bedtime. I do kids' I literally do everything. And he does dishes once a day, maybe. Anyway, so it turns into this fun thing where he's arguing with me and he tells my children that I am the villain of the story, which is like, oh, that's awesome that you're involving the children in our divorce. Good job. Good job, buddy. This morning he calls me up and says that it was out of control last night and that we should do this event for the kids separately this weekend. And I'm like, fine. He's like, okay, what time is it? I'm like, well, you can look it up. I'm not sure. To which there's a long sarcastic pause, like I can hear the intake of sarcastic breath. And then he just says, fuck off, and hangs up. So that is my life. And this is actually better than before I decided to divorce him. He treats me better now.
Dads, can we please be a little bit more conscious of the messages that we are sending to our daughters? A few weeks ago, my daughter had a spring concert and her dad missed it. I texted him to let him know and he asked to get her to call him. So she called him and he said to her, you should have reminded me that your spring concert was this week. And immediately I saw the look on her face, it broke my heart. I texted him after that to let him know that he should have just apologized and left it at that. You making your 5-year-old daughter responsible for the fact that you didn't know that her spring concert was happening. First of all, if anybody was going to remind him, it would have been me. But that's not my job either. It's been on the board at the front of the school for weeks, and I know that he had seen it. She's been talking about it for weeks. Men, and it's not always intentional, have a habit of continuing to perpetuate really unhealthy messages for women that groom young girls into becoming secretaries and receptionists for the men in our lives. And this is just a reminder that it is not on us to remind you of things that should be important enough for you to remember and check in on your own. We're not your secretaries. We're not your receptionists. We're not your appointment makers. We are not your note takers. Please do that on your own.
As a married couple,
this is how we split things up.
I do the laundry.
I do all of the I've recently become fascinated by the division of labor in couples, specifically heterosexual couples that live together, because it's usually not even. And I'm reading this book called Fair Play that talks about creating a more equitable division of labor in a partnership. And the author breaks down chores into 3 parts. So you have the conception, the planning, and the execution of each chore. This means that, for example, going to the grocery store is not just about the execution of going and getting items, but the conception of thinking about what needs to be bought, what staples are we out of, what menus are we making in the next few days, what ingredients do you need, the planning to go and actually get those things, and then the execution of getting those. So all of the comments on this video are like, oh my God, you guys, that's so great to see a couple with equal division of labor, But I did notice that the woman was responsible for all of the conception and planning of things. So she's making the lists, even though they go to the grocery store together. She's planning the dinner. She's doing all of the emotional labor, as a lot of people have coined the term, in the household, even though their execution tasks are equal. It's also why it's so infuriating for men to tell women, well, just tell me what I need to do and I'm happy to help out, because it's still offloads the conception of planning of tasks onto the partner, which is 2/3 of the task. The execution is just 1/3 of the actual task at hand. So if you're interested in creating a more equitable division of labor in your home, I highly recommend this book. And I also just recommend introspecting on how your household roles are playing out in your own life.